Okay, it's good. It's good. It's live.
Okay. All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah,
Yahawah,
BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM, Yahawashi,
YAHAWADAH, BAHASHAM,
Yahawashi.
RICANS. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us this truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. And the elect begins with the 144,000. Yahawah, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jehovah, BAHASHAM is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The RAWCHAA, what doctrine shares the Holy Spirit. We're the brothers of the great millstone Chicago camp. I'm the brother I you're joined with
The brother Ibadi.
coming back at you, brothers and sisters of the household of faith of the Hopeful Right Select with another lesson. And Lord, when we hope this lesson be edifying through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Once again, we hope this lesson is edifying. You know, as you can see, the title, Esau, Edom's Psyops are getting weak, man. You know, ultimately, you know, these different false flags events we're seeing all over the country, man. You know, one related that just happened recently, you know, I believe what a few hours to a day ago now, man. You know, this whole assassination attempt on his life, quote unquote, man. You know, and ultimately this guy, you know, we can't play the clip, you know, because the sound is kind of, you know, can't hear it. But you know, just to summarize it, you know, this guy was linked to the IDF, you know, which law way goes back to the small hats over there and you know, was proclaiming themselves to be the Israelites today, you know, quote unquote. You know, it's ultimately everybody is exposing this man, you know, his different schemes, his different tactics, and they're ultimately getting weak, man. You got even people, normal people in the comment section, you know, that's saying, you know, that's pointing out different things, you know, how ultimately, you know, certain things doesn't make any sense, man.
None of it makes sense.
But just to throw a precept, give you a precept real quick, brother, if I may. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right. This is one of many of Esau's devices, man. You know, his trickery, his schemes, you know, his false flags events, man, because he used these different false flags, you know, to ultimately for a new agenda, man. And we know his ultimate agenda being that new world order, man, by ultimately getting everybody microchip, man. You know, and ultimately what? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices because what? The Lord Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI has given us the eyesight to see through these said things, man, to point out said things like, yeah, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. And ultimately Esau Edom is falling into a own pit that he made, man. You know, because what? We're exposing him on all levels. And it ultimately began by the preaching of this word, man. This devil is being exposed to the point that even these average, you know, Joes out here is exposing this devil.
Everyone.
Yep.
That's how you know his kingdom's over. He has to come down with great wrath because his enchantments are not working.
Yep.
So you don't even have to be a prophet of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI to see that this is complete bullshit and it's all staged.
Mm-hmm. But you got it out.
It's Isaiah 47. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." So that dust represents confusion, you know, a low estate, right? Isaiah 19, he has caused Egypt to err in every work. You know, it says daughter of the Chaldeans, because in ancient Babylon, the Chaldeans were basically the elites, the ruling class, you know, the priesthood, the left-hand priesthood. They were big on you know, they would manipulate the population. They would do enchantments. You know, they were astrologers, advisors. They did witchcraft and illusions. They did illusions. So basically all these things that we see on the news, all these psyops, it's nothing but illusions, man. They're the modern day Chaldeans. And yeah.
Can I just add on to your point real quick, Ibaya? Hey, what is another great example of his enchantments and his tricks, man? Hey, his AI, his media, you know, because they can spin the narrative with these said things, you know, to their liking, to make them look good, you know.
It's mind control. It's really what it is. It's mind control. All right, it's illusions. These things are all enchantments. Like the brother mentioned 9/11 before we came on the camera. You know, 9/11 was a psyop that, you know, they actually did that and it worked. It was really good. Everyone thought it was real. It changed everything. And now it's like he's being questioned on everything he does.
I
You
mean,
know,
even just to touch upon a 9/11 point, the 911, right? People even going back and saying, things don't even make sense now. You know, it's ultimately this devil is being exposed. Like, hey, like we mentioned at the start of this level, hey, the tricks of this devil, the schemes of this devil is it's not working, man. It's
it's not
basically
working.
corruption, man.
It's tacky. It's tacky.
Yeah.
Like the elders always say, it's really tacky, man. And when
Hey,
you
what was just to say this real quick, what was the last false flag event, man? With this Hamite rocking the serving of Allah shirt.
oh yeah. I mean,
So yeah, it's very tacky.
bro, let's not forget that when the so-called ICE so-called killed those 2 people.
Yeah.
That was another psyop, like everything, man. And also it's really like distractions and to create chaos.
That's right. What you got there, brother?
Okay, verse 2, Isaiah 47:2. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover the locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
Right. So that's ultimately a great example of exposing. America is being exposed on all levels. Who ultimately rules America, man? These Edomites. These Edomites, beginning with the top class elites, are being exposed on all levels, man. His enchantments, his tricks are not working. You got, even we just mentioned, man, you got the average person, pointing certain things out, man. If you go back to verse 1, it says, thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Because America was once looked at as that golden city that everybody, once appreciated. Everybody wanted to come here, man. But hey, this place is being exposed, man, on all levels,
Yeah, that's why I said uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers, because when you in the ancient world, when you went past the river, you had to lift that up. It made bare. So it says, thy nakedness shall be seen, or Slakia, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right. Ultimately, this devil being exposed, and ultimately YAHAWASHI making his second return, man. He would not meet thee as a man, because when YAHAWASHI was on the scene, he came lowly, but ultimately what? The Lord is coming back in his ultimate glory, man, But you could jump down. That was pretty much the first 3 verses I want to hit down. You go jump down to that in Isaiah 47.
Okay, this is verse 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, see, labor from thy youth, man. So this has always been what they've always done.
Yep.
If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art weak. Yeah, go ahead, Salaki.
I was going to say, a lot of these things are no longer working right now, man. Ultimately, they had the power to, to dive into the left-hand side, man. Ultimately, perform different, schemes and tricks, ultimately, on the left-hand side. But ultimately, that's not working for them anymore, man. Because ultimately, we're coming to a time where these Edomites have ultimately served their purpose, man. So ultimately, what? The Lord is taking that power away from them.
God, that's it. That's it. He's it says in Job, he as a hireling, he accomplished his day. So he got hired by YAHAWASHI to do this work on the earth. Then he's going to get paid for it. He's going to get paid and rewarded. That's when YAHAWASHI comes. He's not going to meet him as a man.
That's right.
It says, verse 13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee.
Yeah, these different witches and warlocks, man. Because we just mentioned, what was that? The left-hand side, man. What's that? It goes into Ephesians 6, man. Principalities, wickedness in high places, man. Because these elites be ultimately casting up demons, different spells, witchcraft, all types of demonic activities, man. But that's ultimately beginning to fail them, man.
And they're wearied in it, so they're basically just button mashing at this point.
Yep.
They're just button mashing, just throwing up enchantments, this, that. hey, sacrifice to this god, this ritual, this enchantment, this psyop,
but it's not working, man.
it's not working. And then what? That means what? He's gonna have to say, all right, F it, time to
pull out the
speak as a,
sword.
yeah, time to pull out the sword and speak as a dragon,
Yep.
draconian. And all these psyops is, you know, it's like creating like an environment of instability and a wartime environment. So, hey, let's be real, man. There's not going to be another presidential election after Trump. I mean,
yeah, and that was a big part of it too. Yep. Because now
speaking
they have
as a man. Speaking as a man, I would be shocked if there was.
Yeah. Yeah, with this whole situation that's going on, hey, this could very well be, you know, the cancellation of the elections, man. You know,
we understand what's that? The elections aren't real, anyways. But
yeah, yep.
None of.
But I got a quick one to back you up, brother.
Kind.
This is the book of Obadiah 1 and verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Right. How are the hidden things of Esau searched out? And we mentioned that these average people, you know, is exposing this damn devil. You know, you go to the comment sections of these different videos, whether it be, you know, the BBC News, you know, Fox News. A lot of people in the comment sections is pointing certain things out, man. You know, basically saying this don't make sense, that don't make sense. Ultimately exposing Esau Edom and his hidden agendas, man. How are his hidden things sought up? Right. So ultimately, these said things are being brought to the light, man. You know, everybody is coming up against this devil, man. And it's nothing that he can do. And that's beautiful.
God. That's the end of his. That's the end of his kingdom, man. The end. His power has been being stripped away.
Yep. And we mentioned, hey, this is all just justification for him using a sword, right? If you ain't have anything, grab Revelations 12. And you can start at verse 10.
Revelation 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our God day and night.
Right. Who is the accuser of our brethren, man? Esau Edom, man. You know, he categorized us, put Jake in these different categories, basically these different categories to ultimately what? To paint us as the enemy, man. You know? And that's what this devil has been doing since the beginning.
Yeah. He sets it up to where it causes Jake to be in sin. So he can point the finger. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
Right, talking about the elect, man. You know, the elect would stand 10 toes down for YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, even if it means death, man. Because we know that some of us is going to be martyred, some of us are going to get our head, you know, we're going to be beheaded, you know, for the testimony of YAHAWASHI, man. You know,
it says, yeah, we overcame by the blood of the Lamb. You know, meaning like we wouldn't even have this understanding, you know, without Yahawashi's sacrifice to send the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
So it says in verse 12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Hey, that's the elect, you know, ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. All right, woe to you, earthlings. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Right. Coming down with great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time, man. Because, you know, since these, you know, said schemes, tricks, you know, witchcraft is not working anymore, and he's just going to come down with the sword, man. You know, what's that? Psalm 17, you know, deliver us from the wicked, which is thy sword. You know, because Esau Edom, the Lord is about to unleash Esau Edom, man. You know, this is the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI is doing. We can't forget that, man. But ultimately, his witchcrafts, his schemes is not working anymore. So he's going to come down heavy with that sword, man. You know, anything to ultimately what? To push forward his NWO agenda, man. You know?
God, I got Job 20 and 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment, so he has a short time. It says, though his excellency mounts up to the heavens and his head reach onto the clouds, right? Because there was a time when the American empire was untouchable. The military was untouchable. It was miles ahead of every other nation.
That's right.
You know, they could pretty much do whatever they wanted. You know, their excellency mounted up to the heavens. Their head reach onto the clouds. Verse 7, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he?
Right. And just to touch upon that point, what's that, like a verse or two up, it says his head shall reach into the clouds, because this devil is very prideful, man. His pride right now is on is at an all-time high, man. Just look at Donald Trump, the amount of shit that he's been saying, you know, on Twitter, whatever the case may be, man, on these different on these different interviews, man. You know, he's talking big shit. Hey, the Edomite as a whole is talking big shit, man, but his pride is being brought low, man.
Trump is that chief magician, man. He's that top magician. He goes up there and just lies and manipulates everything. And even the word MAGA means magician.
Yep.
Hey, so we're not ignorant of this, man.
Con, I got something to back up that Revelations 12 you read earlier.
Okay.
This the book of Revelations 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right, that two-party system, the Democrats and the Republicans. It was back then. It was the patricians and the plebeians in the ancient Roman Empire, and today you got the Democrats and the Republicans. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right, those draconian laws, because you know, hey, these two sides are ultimately a part of the same bird, essentially, man. You know, because, you know, people, you know, think, hey, I voted for Democrat, I voted for Republican, you know, it's going to be some type of change. Hey, they're all in it together, man. Because ultimately, what? They're all, you know, pushing the same agenda, man. You know?
Exactly.
Because a dragon, you know, those draconian laws, man, because all of this that you're seeing right now, these different psyops, these different false flags, it's just to push their agenda, man. Because they're definitely going to spin it in the way that, oh, we have to lock this place down. We don't know what's going on. Ultimately, what? Hey, what's that Isaiah 10? It talks about, you know, war, some that decree on the righteous decrees, because it ultimately lets them get a push forward to push these different unrighteous decrees, man. Because he could spin it in any different way. Hey, we might have some spies amongst the American people. Hey, we need to shut this down. We need to shut this down. We need to take the rights away from the people. And that's how this devil is going to spin it, man.
Two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And there, it's all leading you to the same place, man.
Yep.
All right. It's all pre-planned. They knew who was going to be the president. All right. Like they were still going to go to war with Iran. Like all this shit, man, is all just an illusion. All right.
Yep,
but what's not in what's the real end goal is when you read down in that chapter, it says he caused all to receive that microchip, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Actually, since I'm at 11, I'm gonna just read down. Verse 12, it says, he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was here, right? The Roman Empire. Because America, you know, it talks about that little horn in Daniel's the 7th chapter. You know, America is the second leg of the Roman Empire. That little horn is, what's that, Daniel 7 and 8, if I'm not mistaken? And it reads, whose deadly wound was healed. Verse 13, it says, he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Hey, that happened what? You know, the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And overall, this, you know, this Edomite's technology, man. You know, he's able to fire missiles out the sky. Hey, we seen that doing, what was that? Doing the atomic bomb, doing Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. You know, going into a sword.
Right.
Verse 14, it says, he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And what's the those miracles today, man? Even fast forward even to today, his AI, you know, his media, his technology, right? It says he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And we're going to know the ultimate miracle is going to be that RFID chip, because with this brain chip, they're saying that people can ultimately, that was paralyzed, can move again. People can play video games that wasn't able to move their body with their mind. You know, that's going to be their ultimate miracle, man. That RFID chip. He deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. And right, we know the image of the beast in total, what is that new world order, man? You know, what's that pattern by the Roman system, man? You know, ultimately because, you know, America, you know, follows the same, you know, pattern as the Roman Empire, man, because America is the Roman Empire coming back. You can go into that word killed, Ibaya in the blue letter.
Yeah, Khan.
Because ultimately those that don't bow down will be exed out of society, man.
Yeah, that word killed, I believe it's going into you know, separated, but let me scroll down. It says in the Greek, apoktino, which is to kill in any way. It says to kill in any way whatsoever, to destroy, to allow to perish, metaphorically, to extinguish, abolish, you know,
Is there any more to that? That was everything?
It says to inflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life, and procure eternal misery in hell.
Okay. Khan, because I know, because, you know, we're going to be exited out of this society or X'd out of this society for not taking this chip. You know, we're going to be literally killed too. You know, you're going to have people that be put to death, but ultimately you're going to have people that be, you know, that's going to be X'd out of society, man.
Which that's essentially a death sentence, because there's no way to really like have your own food, water.
Yep. And it's going to go into it. Verse 16, it says, he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. And go into that word mark is charagma, you know, which goes into what? Incision. A mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? He causes all. Who is the he? The elites of this society, man, because what? They control all facets of your government, you know, your food systems, you know, the things that you're conditioning to, man. These elites control all of that, man. The flow of money, you know. And he causes all, both small and great. So it don't matter if you're bound up, you know, you're in jail, you know, you're in the top of this society, you're in the low of this society. Rich and poor and free of mind to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And what is that mark, man? Hey, that RFID chip, man. Because all we're seeing right now with these different psyops and things like that is to forward their agenda, man. You know, because they can easily spin it and say, oh, there is different terrorists amongst the American people. We have to monitor who's who. Hey, so ultimately what? They're going to use this as a way to forward, you know, that chip, man. It says, verse 17 says that and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? This is going to be the new form, the new currency, the new form of buying and selling, man, which is that RFID chip, man. You know, we see, you know, this different thing with the Neuralink, you know, by Elon Musk. And we see that a lot of people, especially over there in Europe, believe it's like Spain, you know, Portugal, you know, different places like that have already, have, you know, this system set up. This system is set up, you know, throughout the four corners of the world, but we're waiting for that big push so they could just completely, change over to this system. And that's what we're witnessing right now, man, because America is embracing for economic collapse. You know, so these are the different things that we're witnessing right now, man, to help forward this agenda, man. They outlaw pennies. Hey, so we're seeing where this is going, man, with these different false flags and psyops, man. You know, they want to monitor the people, and this is going to be a form of that, man.
Yep, right hand and forehead. So you got implantable devices, brain all right, because he has to. When you really go into that word charagma, that's how you know it's going into the microchip, because it has to be cut into you, like print, like stuck into you, driven into you. And that's also that's a badge of servitude that basically shows that you're his slave forever.
Yeah, 'cause how did the ancient Roman Empire do it, man? They ultimately, branded, their
They're
slaves to
slaves,
see who
yo.
belonged to who. Hey, so ultimately in this digital age and this, what technology is advanced, the Esau Edom is going to brand people by the way of that RFID chip, So you're going to be an owner of the world class elite, man.
Yep, and that's gonna come with which we already are, but it's gonna go to another level.
Hey, yeah, about a birth certificate, the social security card, but they, like you said, they want to take it to another level, man.
Because look, that's going to come with programmable money, CBDC, digital ID, digital currency. So guess what? You're done. You people are finished, because if you do one thing that is disobedient, they could just purely shut off your bank, everything. You can't get a job. Now you're homeless. Look, man, that's giving Esau Edom godlike power.
Yep.
On the left-hand side, which is why he devised this whole enterprise. But what does it say? He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
Right. And what we're seeing right now is subtle steps of moving into that NW agenda, man. We're here. Hey, we just need a big false flag, attack, to ultimately just to shut this society down completely, man. And with these different false flags and different psyops that we're seeing, man, it's ultimately they're trying to inch closer and closer to that goal, man.
Oh yeah. Hey, they said it, Agenda 2030.
Yeah, they want everything done by 2030. So right now we're witnessing, them trying to get the pieces in place. But as the scriptures say, man, hey, the Lord is going to frustrate, how is it quoted? The Lord is going to frustrate their plans.
Let me see. Let me see if I could frustrate.
I forget how it was quoted.
Well, I just quoted one, he disappointed the devices of the crafty.
That's perfect. Yeah. Read that, Baba Kusha.
That's Job 4, I don't know, Job 5. This is Job 5:12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
Right, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Right, that enterprise is their new world order, man.
That's right.
So ultimately, the Lord is going to disappoint them. The Lord. Hey, when they're going to get so close to achieving it, the Lord is just going to rip the kitchen, the food off the table and just kick it over, man. When they're getting ready to enjoy it, man. So ultimately, man, hey, this devil, with these schemes and different psyops, man, hey, it's evident that this devil is losing, man. This devil is scrambling, essentially.
God. Yeah. Hey, even on the back of the dollar bill, it's one of those Latin phrases.
Novus Ordo Seclorum, if I'm not mistaken.
Which that roughly translates to New World Order. But there's another one that says he approves of our enterprise.
He favors our enterprise with success.
Yeah, he favors our enterprise.
Yep.
So they believe that through Satan that they actually got this in the bag. But
what they don't understand, man, hey, Satan works for the Lord, man.
Right.
Because what? Hey, they think they putting people in the trick bag, but it's YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI that use Satan to put them in the trick bag. Hey. So ultimately what? Hey, this devil is, is scrambling, man.
God, you can't you can't checkmate the Most High.
Not at all. But that's pretty much all I had, brother. If you had anything.
Yeah, that was all I had too.
I'm gonna close this out. So with that being said, we hope this lesson was edifying. Want to end up giving all praise and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us the truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord, when we hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time, Kwam YASHARAHLA, Shalom, and Abba.
Shalom, Makim.
Shalom.
The water. Yeah,